Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So I have my crystal ball off to the side. I will be scrying throughout this message. I have some scrolls here from iScribe stuff, so I'll have a link down in the description box below. And if you're interested in a reader who's on YouTube doing something very different, then definitely check her out. Let's see, channel members, whatever day I post this, I'm waiting for the day that I feel like I'm supposed to post this to post it. And whatever day that happens to be, there will be a collective message that posts for you in that evening, probably around 9-10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check that out. If you're interested in channel memberships, that link will always be in the description box below. So as I was laying everything out, I needed to lay things out because I'm getting hit with a very big energy. It's big enough that I actually feel a little discombobulated trying to navigate this. I have some coffee to try and ground me that I will be drinking throughout this reading. And one of the first things that I saw was a star, and this star was immense, but the star was falling. It was like literally a falling star, and it was just shooting through space. And I asked myself, like, what could possibly cause that to happen? And the idea of a black hole, right? Something that exerts a greater gravitational force than the actual star itself. And the way it was moving, it had to be massive. And so there is something very interdimensional and cosmic about the collective that I'm reading for here. There is this element of you've done a lot of self-work and you've refined yourself. I do feel that the person I'm reading for here, you're comfortable in both the light spaces and the dark spaces. And there's an awareness of our interdimensional nature. And I don't mean like what everyone else talks about when they say I'm living in the 5D, I'm living in the 6D. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like having an origin and a life elsewhere, also simultaneously as having a life here. Somebody here is aware of that, or they're at least aware of this idea of a stellar origin, right? And this is an aspect of ourself right now that is operating. I don't want to explain that too much. I feel that when it's the right time, people will understand what I mean by that. So this is definitely a message for a collective working on stellar or interdimensional wounds and missions. Absolutely. And I'm seeing the number 9 and 13. And so as I'm tapping into this 9 and 13, I'm seeing this circle of robed beings surrounding me. They're giving like protector, guardian, observer, watcher energy. And it almost feels like they're in charge somehow of programming certain events that either help or hinder this particular healing or mission. I feel that for the purposes of this reading, I'm receiving both energies because I'm having a very hard time navigating this energy, and I don't feel that that's entirely organic. Interesting. Okay. And then so this message is a powerful being. Whoever you are, you've activated yourself, you've actualized yourself, you've gone through all the lessons that a lot of people go through here on Earth School in terms of boundaries, opening up the heart, the correct use of your power, the correct use of your own personal responsibility and what responsibility you take over things. You've gone through all of that stuff, and now it seems like we're working on other realms and our lessons from other realms and trying to integrate that information. So these beings are now, it's like a click language is coming through, and so I'm receiving information through that. It feels like symbols. Okay, so they're not wasting time. For those of you who are new to my channel, the symbols do not mean that the reading is or isn't yours. It simply means that the people who the symbols resonate for should pay extra attention. These symbols are a little different than the ones I normally get. They're coming in through archetypes, and they're okay. So I just heard they're archetypes that are trying to heal through this collective. To explain that really briefly, the archetypes that we experience. So, for example, last spring, a lot of people experienced Medusa. It's because there's a story in their life that mirrors Medusa's story, and that aspect of themselves that has repeated that story is trying to heal. In this way, the archetypes inside the collective unconscious are trying to heal themselves, because all of creation is trying to come back to that singular point of oneness. Okay, with that being said, we have the Archangel Michael. Okay, the Luciferian current, someone who's working Luciferian currents, someone who works with the gym. I'm seeing the angel Metatron. I'm seeing Azazel. Ooh, I'm seeing Shiva. I see a Rubik's Cube. Fractals, like fractals going in, fractals going out, fractals spiraling in. Spirals are very important to this reading. We'll get to that. Somebody's seeing laser lights in their bedroom at night. Okay. And then also along with that, someone is having sleep paralysis entities. And I just had this sort of Shiva energy step in real fast. And I'm, for whoever is having the sleep paralysis entities, I feel that most of you who this reading resonates for aren't afraid of that anymore. But for those of you who still are experiencing fear of that, because, you know, they can be very scary, especially the way that they behave towards us. I'm being guided to instruct you to look up Hatman and all that stuff inside of the Hindu and Buddhist context, because it's given a very different flavor that can actually be very beneficial in understanding what's going on, especially if we can step out of that idea that everything that is good for us looks the way we want it to and acts the way that we want it to. Okay. Okay, I'm starting over here, they're saying. So, let's get to this. Okay, so they want me to expound on that a little bit. So we have this idea of what's good and what's bad, and it really comes from this sort of New Age context, right? We know that beauty is dictated by our cultural and societal standards, and it's no different in spirituality. A lot of spiritual people, they transpose this cultural idea about beauty being light and, you know, tall, white, blonde beings with light and all this stuff, and they transpose that onto the spiritual world when this isn't the context of the spiritual world, right? And so we take everything that is dark, or everything that looks reptilian, or everything that looks this way or that way, and we're like, it's evil. Someone has recently had an experience where they have experienced their true self, quite possibly. I'm seeing, like, this is how it happened for me, and I'm seeing it this way, almost like somebody's seen mirrors and something in a mirror. For me, it was a mirror in a dream. And they saw something that scared them a little bit. And so that's a little bit of something that's coming through, is accepting our true nature and understanding how to be at peace with that and how to see the beauty inside of it. That seems to be a lesson that someone's going through right now, whether it is literal, like what I just explained, or if it's something that's taking place here on Earth and really accepting aspects of themselves. Again, huge messages of integration have been moving through my readings for the last week. So, I will probably have posted most of those before I post this, because I do feel that this one is waiting for something. Here what we have is we have this red energy on the bottom. This is speaking to me of like that reptilian brain sort of energy. Those primal drives, right? So survival, protection, fear, anger, lust, all of those things are coming up to the surface in this cycling energy. This is that fractal energy. The fractal is growing, and then it's collapsing, and it's growing, and it's collapsing, and it changes a little bit each time it does this. This is important for somebody. The salamander eating its tail here, or the dragon that's eating its tail here, is throwing me to the King of Wands. So the King of Wands card might be important for you. There is an energy along with that brings me back to this idea of someone is working with the jinn. So here what we're having here is that there's this collective energy that is coming up through us, almost like we are a vent point for that collective energy that is trying to siphon and cycle itself out. It's trying to heal itself. Again, there's something about the archetypes are trying to heal themselves. And someone has reached a place here where they're doing that, but there's something that's setting this off. There's something outside of us that's setting this off. I don't know if this is a path change, like a new path has opened up and that's just gravitationally pulling us towards it. It might be a person for some of you. It might be a life event for some of you. It's going to be different for everybody. But there's something that is exerting a powerful force that is creating this, like this venting up of energy. It may be an energy that this thing has. I feel a cyclical energy over here. And so something over here is changing. Whatever this is, it's change. Either it's a person who's going through a lot of change, it's a situation that's changing, or it's a path that's just really changing rapidly. There's something about change in this energy over here that's exerting this gravitational force that's pulling us off of our own position in place. Woo, okay. And, okay. And then I'm seeing, okay, I'm being told to take this one now. And this is, again, it goes back to that magnet. It's an opposite in some way, and it's magnetizing. I'm seeing this as like bumpers, almost as though these beings that I'm seeing are orchestrating or preventing the divergence of these two paths. It's almost like there has to be a meeting of situation in person. There has to be a meeting of path in person. There has to be a meeting of person in person. There has to be this like head-on collision of sorts. I'm almost seeing these as boxing gloves. So there's like an energy in this that there's going to be a little bit of conflict. Somebody here may be conflicted about this energy as it approaches. somebody's fighting something also, and that fight has something to do with this. We have Herald of Change. Again, this card down here is Watchers Transpersonal, and this is just a confirmation for me that these beings are the ones that I am actually seeing. And then we have this Herald of Change with the Horseman. So again, there's a lot of rapid change taking place. The inside of this almost looks like a butterfly as these things collide and coalesce and join in some way, or whether it's temporarily or permanently, there's some sort of new growth. There's something beautiful that transforms. So let's see. I'm seeing up here, Temple of Truth, throat chakra, authenticity, and self-expression. There may be a lot of self-expression involved in this situation, a lot of communication, or a lot of outpouring of energy. It feels like this is an ancient block of some kind, and this is now coming out. This reading, I'm going to say this, so I don't know the order in which I'm posting things. I know that... I don't know the order in which I'm posting these things. So there is an element of 2 of my readings that I've just done that are in this reading. One of them is a reading that is about Thoth, and that's coming up here with the Emerald Tablet activation. And there is an element of this Temple of Truth reminding me a little bit of an opening of a heart space that came through one of my readings. So I am imagining that those will be posted before I post this reading, just because I feel that I'm sitting on this one for a little bit. And so those readings, if you go back through the history, you'll find those readings. The one about Thoth isn't titled anything about Thoth. It'll be titled something like The Eye of the Creator Opens or something like that. So, okay. There's this energy that's coming through about this cosmic womb, this divine feminine energy. I don't feel divine feminine as in a person embodying the divine feminine. It's that the divine feminine on the unconscious level is what's healing in some way. Now, the divine feminine isn't just, there's a lot of things wrapped up in that. Today, when we talk about that with like the new age ideologies, a lot of times they'll think of like, this woman who's super nurturing and super emotional and love and light and in tune with herself. The divine feminine is all the colors, right? All the colors of the rainbow. And there's an aspect of the divine feminine that's extremely dark. It's extremely wrathful. This is where the feminine energy derives its sort of power from, is this solid strength that's very almost like a dark fire, right? It's not fiery in the way that the masculine energy is, in which it tries to do. It's this other type of like otherworldly fire. And so this is why witchcraft, for example, is usually something that is associated with women. There is this energy of this very creative force, but this is a very uncomfortable energy when it's venting through us, right? Not creativity itself, but this sort of that dark, wrathful, creative force that is seeming to come up through somebody, because like I said, that's the energy that this is giving me. For some of you, there may be fear involved in this as well. This other thing that's changing, it is something that is striking me as this. We have the Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, conscious manifesting. So there's some other force outside of us that is constantly going through this, currently going through this. They may be experiencing, if it's a person, they may be experiencing, for example, a Kundalini awakening. There's something about symbols, because there's symbols all up and down these pillars that are important to whatever this is over here. And I do feel that there is something within that dark feminine aspect that is healing for both sides. So if it's a situation, for example, and the situation is simply changing, there may be something highly symbolic about that situation in terms of something else going on inside of your life. And so what's happening is that there's this nurturing creative force that's coming about because of this change, and that's causing this nurturing creative force within you to vent out certain energies. So it is one of those situations where it's the connection of two things, and the energy both are experiencing. It's not a separateness, right? That's the antithesis of this entire reading. This entire reading is about various aspects of our consciousness, not our individual, that are coalescing in some way, that are healing and coalescing in some way. I know that this reading is going to lose the people who it's not meant for. I know that right off the bat, because some of the language and the ideas that are behind this are, they're a little different than I think most people are used to perceiving them. And so you've had to have gone through certain lessons in order to be able to perceive this information. One of the reasons why Shiva is coming out is that it's almost this idea of this collective unconscious waking up in certain areas. And this is a theme that keeps coming out in my readings over the course of the last two weeks, maybe 1 week. I don't know. I'm losing track of time over here, and I don't know in what order I'm posting everything. So here what we have is we have divine memories of Atlantis. This is all about spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. Technology may be literal. It may be spiritual technology. There may be something that's being created out of this progression physically that we can use in order to jumpstart certain things. Again, symbols are very important. We have the Ankh showing up here. Okay, and that's interesting too, because the Ankh for me, we have a divine feminine, and I'm not getting into twin flame stuff. I like to keep that out of my readings. I know somebody's going to transpose that onto this, and I don't feel that that's what this is saying. I don't feel that it's a love story or anything like that. This is about forces inside of the cosmos, and we have this Ankh representing the divine masculine energy. So it's that that yang energy, and we have the divine feminine representing that yin energy. So it's about that integration of things. This is about, it almost feels like it's moving away from non-duality and coming into wholeness. There's this whole idea of a singularity that keeps coming up over and over again. For example, this black hole that I'm talking about. There's this idea of all the moving parts, all the pieces that we create as humans, and our ideas of complexity are starting to shift and move away and fall away, so that our understanding and our processing of things move into an integrated whole. This is why we're seeing the archetypes come through in this reading with this sort of message that my story is trying to heal, my energy is trying to heal, so that I can again coalesce into this source, right? That's what most people call it, is source. The best way that I look at it is like I'm looking at the globe without, the earth without water, and you have all the land masses on their little shelves, all the islands on their shelves, and if all of those were to collapse back down to earth, right? There's this idea that our stories, our lessons, our narratives, they're all trying to find a sense of stability and peace, right? So again, whoever I'm reading for, it's like you've done all that work. You've done all that work to be comfortable with what you've been through, where you are, who you've become as a result of the things that you've been through, and how powerful that is. And now on a subconscious, deep collective scope, that is playing out in a new way, rather than dealing with the individual trying to come to peace with certain things like that. It's like the story of the subconscious. So you may be having a lot of different currents or different archetypes or different deities that are coming up right now to be faced, right? To be faced, to understand the self in a deeper way. And some of you, again, this message is talking about this sort of stellar wounding or this cosmic mission that's coming in, and that journey back into the singular wholeness is for many people that mission. So what we have here is we have this energy is representing this external force to me. And again, I had this spiraling vortex-like nature that's coming out here. What it looks like it's connecting to, if I'm going to read it as though it's a person, just because this is a figure for me. They have their hands out. They're experiencing things in a very new way. But there's these things that are pulling on them also. It's almost as though they're connected to telepathically, their solar plexus, their being is almost connecting to whoever this message is resonating for. Again, this can be a path, this can be a situation. There does seem to be some sort of cyclical nature, these things that are working out inside of themselves with this person as well. But for this person, it feels like it's things within this life. It's something here is changing for them. And this is setting off in a very, in someone else who has already gone through the process this person has gone through. It's like a shock wave that's causing this new set of experiences here on a subconscious level or a collective unconscious level that's trying to be processed. So some of you may be really diving into shamanic journeying for that reason. Okay, let's see. Where am I going? Where am I going? What am I reading here? Okay, I'm reading this. Oh, nope. Switch. Okay. People always ask me about this one. This deck is called the Citadel. I feel those go together. I feel this cluster goes together exactly how it laid out. Okay, we'll do that. So the pathless is finding a path. Someone here may have felt like they didn't have a path here. Okay, so there is a working together or a coming together of this force that is gravitating or like pulling you out of your own gravity. There's some sort of work that's being done together here. Again, huge emphasis on space, on the stars, on the sky, with those astrological symbols coming up. I almost feel that the moon is really important here, because that's what stood out to me was the moon. Okay, the Mount of Luna. Here we have the shepherd, we have the archer. And this goat head is making me think of Azazel again. We have the archer, Sagittarius. There's two sort of horsemen imageries coming out here. So what we have is celebration, family, biding your time, planning ahead. Okay, and so what this is kind of speaking to me about is that there is a slow progression that's taking place in whatever this is. The slowness of the progression may be something that is causing almost like this energetic resistance inside of somebody that is extremely uncomfortable. That's going to be like, yeah, I don't think everybody's going to get that, but for who it's meant for, I think you'll understand. There is something important about late summer to whatever this is, and there's also something important about Sagittarius season. So late summer, I'm almost feeling like around December 21st, there's something very important about this. This may have already happened. This may be something coming up. But there is an energy that one person is very grounded, very practical. Both people might be grounded and practical. One is the keeper. Okay, I just heard one is the keeper of mysteries, and the other one is almost like the enactor of the change. Interesting. Okay, so these are specifically if it's dealing with two people. Okay, and then down here I'm hearing that this is if it's a path that is gravitating you. So okay, I have the sailor, the storyteller, the king. Okay, and the astronomer is off on its own. Okay, so these three right here, if it's about a path that's pulling you, or your path is changing to another path, and it's almost like you can't stop it, and it's bringing up all these weird energies and stuff. This is about control and allowing. Right? This is about allowing ourselves to go with the flow of things in order to be brought into the lessons that they have for us. We even see that here with the sailor. We see that sailboat. And then here with the storyteller, this is viewpoints, control, king, control, refusal of fortune. But then we have this new influences and this wanderlust. So again, it's that friction and that resistance that we may be experiencing because we're set on the way that we thought things were going to go, when really there's a new inspiration and a new trajectory trying to open up for us. Release that resistance. Right? Here we have, I almost feel that resistance is required in this pile, and this pile we need to release our resistance. We have the pathless, difficult decisions, lack of direction. This is a message that also is coming out that I'm doing a reading for later. It's about something about, I don't know if I'm ever going to post it or not. I have weird feelings about it, and so I try to honor those feelings. But there is something in the collective about making choices, and they're difficult choices because we have to trust the direction that we're being guided in rather than second guessing it constantly, right? Sometimes we have to understand that our footsteps are creating the path rather than trying to find the right way or what I'm supposed to do. And this is one of the reasons why astronomer is coming out on the side here, is because there's almost this idea of a person is looking for a roadmap, but that roadmap isn't coming. Right? That roadmap is inside of you. That roadmap isn't coming. Obviously, with astronomy, you can pull up your astrological charts. You can see what the great movements and the great cycles are. I gave a shout out to Honeybee Astrology. I think she's amazing. Go hit her up. But in the way that we show up, in the lessons that we're choosing, in the way that we're integrating that information, those are all our choices, and we have so much free will and movement within those great cycles and those great movements that are pre-planned for us, that are already fated and they're fixed. So whoever this message is for, if you're getting really caught up on what should I do, allow yourself to guide you, right? Allow yourself to create that path for yourself. Here what we have is we have divine collaboration, or I'm sorry, delivering news and collaboration. I don't know why I said divine collaboration, so maybe that's what this is a divine collaboration. I was just drawn to the back of the Mira Tarot, which I used in one of the readings I'll be posting here shortly, and recently. Yeah, I will have posted it before this for sure, recently. And I'm seeing these two eyes and they're mirroring each other, but they're kind of looking off in different directions, right? And they make up a whole. So that's kind of interesting. It's like two different viewpoints that aren't extremely dissimilar, but they're dissimilar enough. Oh, okay. It almost feels like this is your experience, is that you're the one being pulled. But this is also the experience of this over here. So whatever it is outside of us that's exerting this force is also feeling this pull. They're internalizing it in a different way than you are. If you're trying to, a little bit of a warning, if it is a person and you're trying to force some sort of meaning onto it, allow it to be what it is, right? It's when people are forcing weird meanings onto things that it really starts to become unhealthy, because now we're placing expectations and control on things. Okay. I just heard divine sibling, so let's go ahead. Okay. So we have Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? We have Align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change, and Imramra, where are you being called to journey to? Very interesting. Again, I feel that this journey card is very specific to those of you who are picking up shamanism as a practice. It may be literal, it may be a place, but that just strikes me as for somebody specifically who's doing journeys. There seems to be some place that you have some work to do, and whoever that message is for, you're going to know that because it's a confirmation. It's not like something you don't know. Here we have Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? Again, when we mother ourselves, we're taking care of those wounded aspects. This is like mothering something deep inside of our collective. And then what we have here is, what are you, align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change. And so there may be these questions here about different things that we need to strip away. Again, I feel that whoever this message is for, it's like these layers of ourself that we're taking away in order to come back into that wholeness. We may be experiencing it as something that's important in a connection with this other, but it's not about that connection with that other. It's about your experience and how you're integrating that experience. I wish there were better words to really explain the literalness of what I'm talking about, but there really isn't, right? Because we as people, we're so wired to see everything as in terms of, oh, this is happening because they're present, so there's something going on here. And this is not what this reading is saying. Yes, there may be some importance inside of this connection if it is a person, but what it's really saying is that this is about what's venting through you and healing that for your own story, for your own understanding, your own integration. And so I'm going to leave this here because that's really what I'm getting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So whoever this message is for, again, this is a really big energy. It's a little difficult to navigate it and touch all the points, but I hope that this made sense for whoever this message is for. Feel free to like this if it resonated for you, and feel free to leave a comment. And until next time.